The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. This one is brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors. They will offer you that 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Legal fees, full range of services, such as
all your soliciting services.
You nearly said soliciting.
Soliciting's
then,
different.
Which is a very different thing.
Soliciting needs, they'll do all of them.
Yes.
Like your wills, your probate, your conveyancing, for example.
Yeah, look out for that. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Dan here with Michael and with Rob. Euros start this weekend then. You're looking forward to all that? Park it for a second, because that's not the big news, is it? Well, Leeds United are concerned anyway. Phil's off. Quitter. He's a quitter, that's what he is.
Bald fraud.
Yeah.
Sold us out, hasn't he?
Yeah. Chasing that filthy Yankee dollar.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And as soon as he started with that newsletter, that the guy said not to worry about, sure enough, they've gone off together.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. Well,
he thinks he can go on to better things. Well,
we're going to have one more.
He'll prove us wrong.
I hope it's like when soap stars go off and try and do other things, try and better themselves. Oh, I'm going to Hollywood. You're back on EastEnders in 2 years. Come on, Phil. Don't be a success. Stay with us. Stay mediocre.
Stay in your lane. Know your limits.
Stay in this room with us, covering a really frustrating, often appalling football team.
That's another angle that sort of doesn't feel fair about this, is he gets to leave this behind.
Yeah,
he's
life
lifers, aren't we?
He's walking out the prison doors, isn't he? And we're like, no. Can you still send me letters?
Yeah. No.
Top up my, what do they call it in prison? Your little bank balance you can buy like.
I don't know. I've not been there.
Yeah,
what is it, Michael?
Seen it in programs, haven't I?
Yeah. But no, we've got one more to go with Phil. I was going to say we've got one for the road, which we're going to record sort of tomorrow, which is Friday at the time of recording this one tomorrow.
I'm only lashing out because I'm going to miss him.
Yeah. I genuinely will. Because it's been so much fun working with him. And it's not completely dead. You know, we might look to do some stuff together in future, but for now, the show with Phil, as it is, will come to an end, which we will reiterate on the show with Phil, where we say goodbye. Tearful goodbye. No, it'll be a shame to not do that. But, you know, we're cooking up, aren't we? Plan we're cooking, as the kids would say. Are we cooking?
I'm not sure we are.
Are we not?
Not in the way that people use it now.
No?
No one's ever said about me, just let Michael cook.
No?
No, I did do a big bolognese yesterday, so that's how I cook.
Yeah.
You'll be doing ready, steady, cook anytime now.
Yeah, possible.
Talk us through your bolognese. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Are you making it from scratch, man? Or
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Celery, carrots, onions. Put mushrooms in it too, which I know some people don't go for.
Controversial.
Trying to get some more veg in it and that, aren't I?
For the kids and that.
Yeah. Tomato puree, tinned tomatoes, beef stock pots.
You're not boiling
herbs.
beef bones and making your own stock.
No,
It's not homemade. It's not homemade, then, is it?
Oh, fine. Little Aldi. The little jelly-ish pots, not the cubes.
Yeah.
Not that I'm against cubes. If you're a cubes person, it's fine. I think it's much the same shit, really, and it's just adding a load of saltiness to it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's about it.
Thanks for that. We will say, just regards to Phil, that we both said afterwards, didn't we? So Phil told us that he was leaving Leeds. It was last Friday, so just before we recorded the show with him last week, and we were like, what's the point in doing this then? No point in doing it anymore, like spoiled teenagers. But we said afterwards, didn't we, after Phil left, like we both had the same thought. We went, because he said, right, and banged his hands on the table. Said, I've got some news. And we were like, oh God, please don't.
Not your head, Phil, not your head.
Please don't need to be drilling into his head again. And actually, we were relieved that it was just him moving on to something else professionally. His daft little newsletter.
It's a stupid thing.
Yeah, so you go.
We should probably be talking it up, actually, and saying
why he's dead to us now.
I suppose so, yeah.
But one for the road with Phil tomorrow, which will be it's the launch day of the Euros. I believe that's what they call it, the launch day. Yeah, first day of the Euros. Germany against Scotland. I believe all the chat there is about Liam Cooper. Scotland's number 16, off the top of my head.
Big game. The last Euros we had Calvin, didn't we? And it was all quite involving from that.
Yeah, he was like England's player of the year that year, wasn't he? You never know. Liam Cooper might end up with a golden boot or something. Weird things can happen.
Earlier on, I was just listening to football cliches, actually, as I had a little walk, and they're picking a Euros 11, as in people who feel very Eurosy. And I was wondering, they're only on the defenders at the moment, but I was wondering if Calvin's going to get a spot there because it was his tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I was thinking about like the Legioness is just sort of gradually getting stripped out of all this, isn't it? So it's Germany against Scotland. Robin Koch is still technically ours until the 30th of June.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And so is Liam Cooper. I mean, I know they are talking about potentially a new contract there, but you wonder, don't you, whether that gets signed or not. But yeah, Koch against Cooper.
I still follow Koch on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never unfollow anyone on there.
Oh, it was incredibly cathartic last summer, just clicking unfollow on all those people.
I've still got Robbie Gotts on there and
all right.
Ollie Casey and people who played like half an hour for us. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Robin Koch walk vaguely near to people who are scoring goals. That's my lasting memory of him, is that he'd be like Rolls Royce like in his approach, but then also never do anything.
Yeah. Hungary against Switzerland is the next game on the Saturday. Again, no Berardi in the Swiss squad.
Is it because he's retired?
That will definitely probably put paid to his prospects on the international
stage. Same for Pablo in Spain, I guess.
Yeah. And then you're looking forward to Spain. But even like Rodrigo was still in the Spain squad until relatively recently, but that's all gone now, hasn't it?
Have we covered Pablo's new job? I'm not sure he's even been mentioned.
He's in management, isn't he?
He is. He's the
Castellon B,
which is if you ask me, a clear stepping stone to the Leeds job.
You're trying to blog a trip out there, aren't you?
It would be. I regretted not going to watch him play, but going to watch a man manage a reserve team feels like a tough sell.
I don't know. I did go to France to watch Marcelo Bielsa sit there.
Yeah,
in a basically pointless friendly against Côte d'Ivoire.
There's speaking of Berardi, he's now playing like a 7-a-side thing in Switzerland, and Leeds fans have turned up there. So there's no shame in going to watch Pablo Hernandez manage a reserve team.
Have they travelled there for that, though? Or were they in the area?
I'm going to say yes. They have travelled there.
Well, that's the thing. I think where Leeds fans are concerned, it's the opportunity just to have a few days away and have a few drinks with your mates, isn't it? As much as going to see anything else.
Yeah.
It's kind of the point of my little trip to France, really. And why... I mean, quite a hard sell, but doing Copa America in a couple of weeks. Go see Marcelo again.
Go see Brendan.
Yes. Yeah, well, we'll get on to Copa in a minute, but I was just saying, talking about the Legion has been stripped out of everything. Italy-Albania is the later game on Saturday. No Willy Gnonto in that squad. So a lot of our interest, there could have been interest in all three of those games. And then Sunday, the early kickoff, Poland against Netherlands. No Clicky. It's his birthday today.
There's just a clear anti-Leeds bias running through the whole. And some people would argue these players are really old and have simply not up to it anymore.
Peaked 5 years ago.
For some of them. Although Willy Gnonto, he's in his prime, the little rat bastard.
Yeah, but he's not been selected, has he, for the Italy-Albania game? Poland against Netherlands, and then Slovenia against Denmark, the middle game on the Sunday. Have we got any interest on the Slovenia side? Don't think so. I can think off the top of my head. But Denmark, Rasmus Christensen.
Still reluctantly ours, I suppose.
Is he getting in their team? I know he's in the squad, but I mean, they even tried to drop him when he played for Leeds, didn't they? But he managed to find a way back in somehow. Yeah,
just looking through their list of defenders on the UEFA Euro 2004 website, they've got Andreas Christensen, but spelled differently to Rasmus Christensen, but they've also got Victor Christiansen, which could cause some fun and games for commentators, I imagine. And their keeper is always in the squad, one of them anyway. They're number one.
He'll be a son of a character.
Yes, Kasper Schmeichel, now 37 years old. Can you believe that?
Wow. Well,
and he's still by that. I don't know if you saw it. He recently did an interview where he was mentioning what had been sung at him at Leeds as well. Your dad's a character, but you're all right.
He
hasn't let it go.
No, still upset.
It's just a long time ago. I don't think anyone's gives him a second thought, do they, for the most part? He was here for it was an all right season, wasn't it?
It was all right for a bit, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And then he left and everyone went, I'll never go on to do anything. Won the Premier League.
Proven right.
We're getting Andy Lonergan. We'll see who has the last laugh.
And it was us, really, wasn't it? In many ways.
In some ways.
Yeah.
But Andy Lonergan went on to play for Liverpool.
Yeah, didn't he win the Champions League or something?
Was he on the bench in the Champions League final?
What was Kasper Schmeichel's peak? Leicester.
Yeah.
admittedly winning the league, but did it count?
Serbia against England is the one that's interesting, or most interesting from our point of view, being as we are in England and English. But it's weird. I've got another weird feeling about, or lack of feeling going into this tournament again. I don't know if it's just like the pre-tournament games or the sort of stress carryover from the end of the season from a Leeds point of view, which feels like it's still only just finished.
Yeah, it did go on a bit this season, didn't it? But yeah, you think back to the last Euros, and it was exciting to think Calvin was going to be playing, and then Croatia was the first game, wasn't it? And Calvin was really good in it. And all of a sudden, loads of people have been going, "Oh, I don't know, Calvin Phillips in the squad." And then he was brilliant in it, and I was like going around to people going, "Yes, he is. I've been telling you how good he is. I told you he was good." But there's none of that this time. It's like,
yeah, it feels quite telling that I only realised the tournament was starting this week about 2 days ago when I started to notice there was a lot of like Euro 2024 previews online. I was like, "Oh, is this happening soon?" Okay, Friday.
It's a theme that we've spoken about, I think, on shows before, where we've said there's a fairly strange, I guess it down to how high profile and the number of teams that we have in the various leagues in England, that means sometimes it's difficult to love the England football team or get fully invested in it. Like, I'd like to see England win something in my lifetime just by virtue of the fact that I'm English, and it's not happened. But equally, like when they lost the Euros final to Italy, I was like, I'm over it within about 5 minutes. It's not Leeds, is it?
no, not really.
And I don't think Leeds has ever had a huge like relationship with England as a rule. Have we? I always felt like Tony DeRigo should have been left back and never was. Nigel Martin should have been keeper and never was.
Lee Bowyer should have played some games and didn't.
And Don Revie was done dirty by England as well, the way he was treated in that job. So it's never sat particularly easily with me, the relationship with England from a Leeds point of view.
The weird thing with this England squad is I think it was maybe just me showing my age and my lack of interest in football that isn't Leeds. But also, I do feel like if Adam Wharton or Kobe Mainoo were in this room, I might struggle to identify them. So this guy's a footballer. I'd be like, is it
just gone for £20 million or so?
Do you play for Everton? Palace? You're saying Palace? Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure which one you are. You're one of them.
Adam Wharton, I guess he would have played against Leeds this season, did he?
Yeah.
Right, he was one of those people who was kind of under the radar. I was like, I think he was all right. I think he was quite good. And then a few months later, he was in the England squad.
He's at Crystal Palace and he's going to the Euros.
Fair play to him. I'll get into it once it starts. I know I will. It becomes more interesting, doesn't it? It's just the problem is with England, all the build-up stuff is always incredibly dull. Apart from like 96, where they all went out and got dentist chaired. Yeah. When there was a bit of interesting stuff going on. Like the pre-game stuff, it's almost like it doesn't matter. Yeah. And the players, you can tell from the players' attitude, it doesn't matter. And you think, well,
and they're all coming off the back of a long season, so they're trying to manage the minutes and their output. And yeah. Like the loss to Iceland is like you kind of went,
Yeah.
I almost enjoyed that because it was nice seeing other people at Wembley having an awful time. But yeah, it's good. It is shit, isn't it?
It's all you deserve.
Yeah. I did only see the highlights of it, but the atmosphere looked awful.
It was hilarious. It was like half empty with about 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, just complete silence. It's an awful place.
Yeah,
it's an awful place.
Did you see much of the Champions League final there, which was obviously like a few days a week after we. I
think I was having some time away from football.
Some alone time. But it was interesting to see like the fans there getting stuff going. But it was like done in the ultra style with a megaphone, somebody at the front coordinating fans singing, rather than like. I mean, I know there was the whole deafening PA thing was probably going on there as well for the Champions League final. And inexplicably, was it Lenny Kravitz who came and did a quick turn on the pitch just before that?
Is it 1993?
Something. It might have been Lenny. I can't even remember. But it was Lenny Kravitz. And like people, I think got booed off as well because the fans were like, "We want to sing our football songs, not Are You Going to Go My Way." It's just a really strange.
Was he doing Are You Going to Go My Way as well?
I think he did. Yeah.
I mean, it's his only. Well, actually, there's It Ain't Over Till It's Over. It's not a bad song.
Yeah, but it's
his output in the last 25 years.
A really weird choice, but it seems like they're trying to make it more kind of Super Bowl half-timey, and it just didn't need it. It's a football ground. It's a football game anyway.
I'm watching the Netflix series about the Nazis at the moment. It's a bit of light viewing for the evening, and they've just watched the episode of the Olympics, and it shows him like walking into the Olympic Stadium. I was like, I've seen Shakira on there, right? At the World Cup final. It's like quite different. It was a different vibe.
Versus Hitler.
Yeah. It felt more fun. Did Shakira? Although it was also weird at a World Cup final to just be like, and here's Shakira. It's like, why though? It's just the need to make it a bigger,
glitzy and showbiz,
a bigger event, I guess, isn't it? It's like, well, you've got to have some build up to it. So, well, people are here for the football, really. Does it make a difference if Lenny Kravitz is there.
Did you enjoy Shakira?
I think it was all right.
Yeah.
As I remember.
You boo her off.
Throwing bottles
Bottles of piss.
Daphne and Celeste at Leeds Fest style, just wanging stuff at her.
That was bottles of piss.
It was bottles of piss. Yeah. I was at that as well.
Yeah, Daphne and Celeste.
Daphne and Celeste.
For our international viewers or listeners, please do have a Google of Daphne and Celeste.
I'm pretty sure it's on.
It's on YouTube. You can see the footage. Yeah,
I was going to say, I don't know if it's Leeds. The same thing happened at Leeds and Reading, I think, because Leeds and Reading are
connected. Yeah.
They're the same festival basically, but just in different, the same lineup on different days. But yeah, they were a weird little 2-part pop duo who had a couple of
it was like bubblegum pop,
novelty songs, and for some reason they were booked to play a rock festival, and people just chucked shit at them. I can't remember, it was Leeds already. Someone threw a wheelchair at them,
right?
Which is
quite an achievement.
Some going,
yeah.
That is like the.
I was going to say, you're thinking Nou Camp.
A little bit. Yeah. The one in Italy where they throw like the moped on fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like the Leeds Fest equivalent of that, isn't it?
Excellent. But yeah, back to the Euros as we were talking about there, and Serbia versus England. You mean England again? I suppose as well, because the way that like football is polarized at the top level in Europe, you expect England to win that, don't you?
Yeah, I mean England's group looks easy. Plus, the group stage is. It's not pointless, but because loads of third place teams go through, you feel like this whole first stage,
it's really quite difficult to get eliminated.
It's really just set up to get rid of Scotland.
Right. So Germany, Scotland, Hungary, Switzerland. Yeah, I think the Scots might get through there.
You're going to get rid of Georgia and Scotland, and that's going to be about it.
There was that thing that went viral on Twitter, wasn't there, through the week about the bloke sending an email to the school notifying them that the kid would be out of school from the moment that the tournament started for Scotland this week until such time as Scotland got eliminated, and the obvious joke was, well, he'll be back within a week, and so on and so forth. But Germany, Scott, just rewinding to that tournament opener featuring the hosts. Possibly should have a little bit more about it in Germany than the Qatar World Cup, which was just bizarre, wasn't it? That
actually, I'm looking forward to Scotland being in the tournament as well, just because I feel like they should be, because they were at Euro 96 and France 98. They were my main tournaments that I knew as a kid. Therefore, they should always be there, just as the Premier League lineup shouldn't change from that formative first few years.
Oldham Athletic should be in it, yeah.
But they're fine to be there, yeah. Of course they are. Charlton probably should still be in with a shout. Another in League Two, whatever. But they had a lot of Premier League years while I was watching it. Swindon, one season, but
give them a go.
Still worth a go.
One season, conceded 100 goals. No right to be there. Get him in there. Sean McGurk, Premier League footballer.
But why not? Yeah, and likewise, I think Scotland should be at tournaments because Jim Leighton was once there with Vaseline on his eyebrows.
They were at the last one, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
Do we know how far they got in that one?
I know they drew with England, didn't they? And it was a big deal. I think that was a group. Yeah. It was a group stage one, wasn't it? That it was like caused a big celebration, but then they just went out. I think, and it was like, oh well.
The game after England's on Sunday night will be the Tuesday afternoon UK time game between Romania and Ukraine. Exactly the sort of fixture you would go out of your way to avoid if it was outside a tournament. But when these are on, I absolutely love it. Just love sitting there and hoovering up football hour after hour after hour.
Especially at 2 p.m. That's a great time of just sat in front of the telly, pretending you're working, watching a load of footballers you've never heard of.
I do miss the tournaments when I worked at ITV, because there was just always a telly in the office, and it was more or less like accepted that you just would watch the telly.
Did you watch it like the BBC games in the ITV office?
Of course.
Whoa.
Well, yeah,
it's like crossing the streams on Ghostbusters.
What else can you have on? Fucking Tipping Point or something. It was Romania against Ukraine on the BBC. Get that straight on. Plus, there's no adverts on there, so it's better.
Belgium against Slovakia. Any interest in that? No. Austria, France. Any interest in that? Georgia not being called up yet?
No.
Austria's Max Verber, isn't it?
Oh, shit.
Is it?
Is it? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We need him to play well, because then someone might buy him.
Well, actually, that actually successfully leads us into the point of Copa America that you mentioned before, because that then we can, if you're good about it, you can watch sort of 3 games across a day over the weekend, and then go over to Copa America sort of for the late fixture, like 11 p.m. So you could just watch football 24/7 at a push for at least a few days,
and in quite a nice disconnected way.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, yeah, he is in the squad. It looks like.
Right. Of course, because he apparently told his agent, don't get in touch with me while I'm at the tournament about any transfer matters or Leeds matters or whatever.
His agent said there's nothing to say anyway.
Nobody's paying it, Max. And then Copa America. I mean, we are talking off the back of the USA playing Brazil and drawing I think it was 1-1. Played in Orlando. Apparently, the teams are struggling a little bit with the summer heat in Orlando, which bodes well. Aronson came off the bench, I believe, in the second half. Rafinha played as well.
He got an assist, I think.
Yeah, so that's about as Leedsy as we can get.
Finally to see those two on the pitch together.
Nice to see Tyler Adams come off the bench as well. You happy for him?
Fine, I suppose. It's good that he's back from injury for a week.
How long's he out for now?
Weston McKennie as well, featuring.
Yeah, he's coming back to England,
on
isn't
his
he?
way to Villa by the looks of it, in a big swap deal for, was it Douglas Luiz? Who's going the other way. So that'll be nice.
I'm very surprised at that. It feels like he had a little rehearsal in the Premier League and it was disastrous. But maybe the Leeds toxicity will have gone and he'll be a good player again. Because I must admit, ahead of us signing him, I thought it looked pretty decent when I'd seen him play for the USA, and I thought it might be quite useful. And he turned up and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think when he can be asked, he might be a half-decent player.
Yeah.
Could be that he's heard of the Birmingham Curry Mile, and that's why he wants to go to Villa. Chance to stock up on that takeaway food.
Get his own ranch dressing along to put on a tikka masala. It's going to be an interesting blend.
So, it'll be interesting to see if he rocks up. And is that it, really, for Euros roundup?
Why aren't you covering transfer speculation?
Well, the window does officially open tomorrow as we record this. It opens on Friday, doesn't it? And we've been linked to Natan, is it Germa? An attacker from Reggiana, sort of. Is he number 10-ish?
He is, I believe.
Rob, you've done the in-depth research on this.
Was it Wikipedia or YouTube?
I'm basically a scout now, but he doesn't have a Wikipedia page. So
right, okay.
I was really committed to the cause and went on YouTube and noticed that he's very tall.
Right.
Which I like for a number 10. I feel like a lanky number 10. You don't see many of them. So I say sign him.
Big flick-ons.
Yeah, exactly. He was scoring headers and even from set pieces.
Yeah.
So I say sign him.
Is he this year's Charles de Ketelaere? Because he was quite a big number 10, wasn't he? He was quite a lanky man.
Although he was
I think he's a lot cheaper.
And he was knocking around in a number 90 shirt as well.
Okay. Well, it's weird that he doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
What's he hiding? What's he hiding?
I think a very underwhelming football career because he was playing semi-pro about 2 years ago.
Right.
So
you're
good
saying
pedigree.
You're saying sign him anyway?
Just for his height.
Right. Big question then. How much?
Let's say an arbitrary figure of £3 million.
That seems about fair.
Yeah.
Right. Is that what
3 million rising to 4.
Right.
Yeah.
What sort of add-ons are you looking at?
Or if he grows anymore,
right?
That'd be the main thing I'd be looking to incentivise. His Wikipedia, not Wikipedia. His transfer market tells me he's 22, so he probably won't grow anymore. But if he does, I think we should give an extra £1 million an inch.
Right.
Seems fair. He's on Instagram.
Yep.
2,488 followers.
Is that enough? Is it high profile enough?
It's probably not going to sell as much in terms of an international audience, is it? You know, when you say, oh, we're signing this player who's got more followers than the club has or whatever. But yeah, I mean, he's got a nice face. So yeah, so let's have it. He's got a nice face and he's tall.
Would you describe it as a kind face? I haven't looked at him yet.
Yeah, I'd say it's quite a kind face, actually. Right. He's very smiley on all of his pictures.
Yeah.
There's one or two serious looking ones, but generally it looks like a man who's having a nice time.
There is another option for number 10, though. If you saw our midweek star on the international scene.
Junior, of course.
Junior Firpo taking his false 3 role to its logical conclusion. Wearing number 3, named at left wing back, plays as a number 10, right off the striker. Brilliant.
He always did it for us, didn't he? Like end of last season. It's like the goal that was wrongly disallowed against Norwich, where he just rolled it into an empty net, and it was like
he's goal poaching.
Junior Firpo, what's he doing up there? But I mean, he's one that has not really been linked with a move away, but I feel like he probably played just about well enough last year that someone might have him this summer.
Has he got a year left on his contract?
It's got a kind of year loan that never comes back vibe to it as Junior Firpo this summer. But no.
I mean, his whole Leeds career has felt like that. So.
Well, yeah, but he's never managed to stay fit enough or play enough for anyone to buy him, has there? But
your man Natan Germa is a very smiley man. You're right.
Yeah, I think I like him.
And there's a good few double thumbs up pictures of him as well. If you Google image search his name, and he's even doing the Joel Peru style phone kind of I'm cool symbol.
He looks to be in a hospital bed.
From a hospital bed, yes, okay. Which is possibly cause for concern. So my recommendation, when we pay 3 rising to £4 million for him, do a medical.
Yeah.
Check for any problems.
Yeah, have a good rummage around.
Yeah.
I don't even know they're doing a medical.
put them on a rack, stretch them out.
They do proper scans and stuff. They probably do.
Mickey Quasson's failed his, didn't he? So.
Yeah, that's true.
Touch the legs.
There's the old Sunderland documentary, which was, I think it was during Peter Reid era. It's all still on YouTube, but they're trying to sign him. I can't remember the guy's name. He's an Israeli striker. But he's going for his medical and they're basically quizzing him. Like, any problems at all? And he's like, no. All good. All good. And then they scan his leg and he's got like a broken leg. And they go, you got a fracture in your leg. And he goes, oh yeah, my leg's fine.
Do you always use those crutches?
Forgot to mention that.
Just completely turned up and tried to be like, I'm just going to style this out, just going to get the contract and then it'll be a problem for them to deal with. But yeah, never signed him.
Right, well, we'll wrap it up there for today unless you've got anything else to add. We're going to be doing our player-by-player reviews on a variety of scales. That's over on the members show. This week, we've got a quiz over there as well.
How do you subscribe to be a member?
Oh, go to our website.
Yeah, I'll do it, yeah.
What? Yeah.
I tell you what else, while we're advertising stuff, whilst you're on that website, these shirts are for sale as well.
Yeah,
if you want a Red Bull free Leeds United-ish shirt, clearly these are not Leeds United shirts. If any lawyers are listening, they're Leeds United adjacent shirts
in similar colours. Yeah, and it's the fantasy shirt that never was, isn't it? Like the Admiral sash design.
Yeah, of the
Palace might have had it most famously, I think, back in the day. But yeah, that's on there. If you want to go find all that, thesquareball.net, and we'll catch you after the weekend, I imagine. Then,
suppose so.
Enjoy the start of the Euros.
Something to watch, isn't it?
It is something to watch, something to pass the time. We'll catch you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.